First things first, gentlemen, how have you been?
Good, man. It's been, when was the last time we did an interview with you?
Lowlands, maybe?
Lowlands.
You're playing again this year, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
So that's
So that would have been,
third
what,
time?
15?
Something like that.
2015?
Yeah. 16?
Maybe something, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Time flies, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where I want to start with is, well, kind of since I've met you, since I've last spoken to you, there have been a lot of developments. And along the lines of a couple of songs, I want to talk about certain things. So I want to start with Chlorine, which I suppose is about creativity. When, and for both of you, when did you realize that you couldn't live or couldn't kind of go on without creativity? When did that become a prominent part of your life?
I think that I always kind of grew up inclined to build or create something, but it didn't seem like I stood out more than anyone else that I was around. And you know, I had a great neighborhood of friends growing up, and we would build everything from our own Lego collections to building tree houses to making our own, you know, homemade music videos. And yeah, we were just always making something. I think maybe it was started out of just making sure we weren't bored or conquering boredom. So I think it wasn't until I started playing the piano that I realized that I was actually addicted to creating something new, or at least new to me. And then it started.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So.
I think maybe in middle school, I would listen to, I kind of like, that was like the first time that I intentionally sought out listening to music. And I think that I realized the way that like each sort of genre, but also band, but even within a band, like the different song could make me feel a different way. And I thought that was really powerful. And so when I started playing drums, obviously I didn't know what I was doing at all. I think there was like a moment where like I got all of my like limbs to do something different. And I thought that was such a cool feeling, and something that I also, I guess the word that he uses was addicted. And I felt addicted to that too. And I think that I liked the challenge of trying to convey emotion within something that I couldn't use my voice. And that's always been kind of a fear and anxiety of mine anyway, is kind of like speaking. So I felt like it was kind of perfect anyway. It was kind of like, how can I figure out how to express something without actually saying something, and do it in the context of music. Yeah, I guess it was at that moment. I think I was probably 13.
And Josh, you already touched upon it a little bit, but for both of you, finding this I think we could call it obsession then in music, what did that open up for you in terms of kind of how you felt about things? But because you mentioned already kind of talking without having to say anything, but what did it open up for you in terms of where your life was going?
Well, I think it gave me something good and productive to do with my time. That was kind of, I mean, because yeah, I was a young teenager, and I think at that point in life you can find yourself starting to get into some trouble if you kind of are around it. And so I think I shifted all of my kind of attention and time into learning an instrument and figuring out how to do that. And I guess it was a good and cool feeling to have a passion, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't really know what they want to do. And looking back, I think realizing that music being both of our passions, that's a scary thing, and a little bit daunting. But I think we were both too naive and ignorant to realize how daunting it actually was. But it was cool to have something in mind to chase, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a sense we lucked out twice in a row, which is one, we found something that we loved that gave us direction. In a sense, gave us I don't know, who we were. And not everyone finds that. You know, there's a lot of people who go throughout their lives, especially younger kids that, you know, they don't have an identity in some specific, I don't know, whether it's art or really any hobby or thing that just fires them up. And so we're lucky enough that we stumbled on it by accident. And then the other lucky thing that happened was that it worked out, that we get to do it all the time. And the chances of both of those things happening are very slim. And so we're always reminding ourselves and each other that we're fortunate to be in a position to not only found a passion, but also make it work so that we get to do it for a living.
And Josh, you mentioned the word daunting. So, and going to some of the lyrics in Chlorine, then because it went well, because you're able to do this for a living, it also brings other factors with it. And one of the lines I wrote down is, the letter's terrible in flavor, but now you double as paper maker. Mm-hmm. So did the passion sort of shift over time, or
it didn't shift as much as it just it grew to be multifaceted, where it was such a gigantic thing that there were aspects of what we do that it is a job. Mm-hmm. It's not what we want to do all the time. And especially this last record, Trench, the idea of writing music, there were some days that I wake up and I didn't want to, but I did anyway, because I needed to, because it's what I'm supposed to do. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the songs are any less inspired. It means that you pushed through, I don't know, whether it was laziness or just being content with where you are and slowing down. You push through that, and songwriting doesn't have to be always super inspired. You can treat it as a skill that you just need to hone in and get better at, even if you don't feel like doing it at the time. And when I was writing Chlorine, I guess in a way I was struggling with this idea of there's certain aspects of writing songs and being in a band and touring that, sometimes I don't want to do them. And then it's like, wow, how did this happen to my passion that was so pure and unbridled and, endless? I never would have thought that it could happen to it, and it did. But that's not something that you stay in very long. When you truly do have a passion for something, it inevitably, you work your way out of that rut where you view it as a negative or whatever it is. It I don't know how it works exactly, but it's waves, it's seasons, it's ups and downs. And if anything, I'm developing a relationship with creativity, with songwriting, where we've had our good times and we've had our bad times. And I think that it makes the good times that much better, and it makes the inspiration that much stronger when you've wrestled with that chord progression that many times, when you've wrestled with getting the snare to sound just right, and it gets to the point where you don't love that you're working on songs anymore. You're mad that you can't get it right. But then when it does land and you do get that melody to course through that progression the right way and get that that feeling just right and capturing exactly what you hear in your head just right, that's when it all comes back to you, like, this is why I do what I do. And you just have to work through it to get there sometimes.
And maybe this is wrong, but the hype then talks about certain aspects of discipline and determination. So is this kind of what you need to push through those moments?
Yeah, I think the hype is also talking about the reminder that you don't need to listen to everyone. I think that there is a culture around specifically a recording studio where songs are written, where the belief is the more people you put into the room, the better the artwork, the better the song. And in a sense, not that I don't believe in collaboration, but I believe that the left and the right turn inside of songwriting is such a fragile decision that multiple influences and multiple people in the same room can absolutely influence the wrong direction. When you work with 9 people on a specific song in a direction, and you say, well, is this where the middle 8 should be, and how it should feel? Is this the bridge? And persons number 1, 2, and 3 get really excited about that idea, and then 4, 5, and 6 come around to it, and then 7, 8, and 9 make it happen, and then realize, oh, they were right. And what just happened was 9 people think that they all landed on the right thing, when really, if it's just one person, which I've done countless times, which is, I think this is the way that this song should go. I work it all the way through, I turn around, and I listen to what it is, and I have the ability to say, that's wrong. And I change it. And when you've got 9 other people who have helped decide to reinforce that, it's not like person number 1 is thinking, man, I know this is wrong, but everyone else likes it, so I'm going to let it fly. No. Those 8 other people can influence you to think that, no, it is right. And then you go, wow, this is right. So the hype surrounding creativity can make people make the wrong decisions. Really what it is it's the natural excitement that comes with the proximity to creativity. It's exciting to watch someone create something. And that excitement can be confused with, that's the right direction that song should go. There's a lot of big names that surround themselves with a ton of people in a studio, and they do these documentaries where you watch them bring celebrities in to listen to this new song and listen to this new direction, and these people get all excited about it, but not because of that necessarily what the song is doing, but because of the environment that they're in, because they're close to where the art was created. It's exciting, and that can be misleading. And so we've always kept everything super close to the chest because of that.
So is the aim, and I think, Josh, I heard you say this in an interview as well, but did you kind of try to get to that early innocent moment of when you just started out, and where you don't think about anybody else, you just do it for the sake of doing it?
Yeah, I think so. I think especially as it gets bigger, there are more and more people who want to have some sort of a say in what music should sound like, and even family sometimes doesn't really know. So I think that keeping it as minimal as possible, kind of exactly what he was just saying, can be the best, because it just depends on who you really want to listen to. There are so many different factors, and there's the idea of what worked before and trying to just recreate that, or trying to make it like a bigger or better version of that, or to just continue on creating and trying to just get better and continue a story and an idea that happened a long time ago, and try and stay on that trajectory of like really being who we are. I mean that's important to me, and I think things naturally are changes over time as we both get older and learn things. But yeah, I think keeping things minimal is important.
Final question then, because when I see you perform live, there's this certain joy in it, or I mean, you can tell that you like what you do. So how do you capture that every night, or how do you kind of keep that, because if I see you play drums, it's just a big smile. You're not even looking, and so this passion, this how do you keep it from kind of spoiling, so to say?
I think if we were to play our show in front of nobody, it would get pretty old. But that's the one thing that changes every day, is that, you know, it's a set of people that, you know, and it's crazy to think about, well, what are these guys' story? How did they get here? And I wonder how many shows they've seen. Was this the first one? Or have they come 30 times to see us before? And I think that it's really fun. Sometimes we'll see the same people in the front row, and that keeps us on our toes too, because they've seen us a bunch, and you want to make sure that we're performing. But it's also, I mean, I feel like music is just therapy in general. So it's like, I mean, we really do love it, and we love the idea of trying to make each show better than the last. And we kind of like sit and talk after each one, and with a couple of our guys, and bring out notes and things that need to change or things that need to get better. And I think that's a huge thing that we love about the show too, and keeping it fresh and keeping it entertaining for ourselves, but trying to make it as good and entertaining as possible.
Yeah, it's something my mom said to me when I was younger a lot. She said, you enjoy something that you're good at. And that was basically another way of saying you should work hard to get good at something, because then you'll enjoy it more. And because Josh and I have such a focus on improving and trying to never staying stale, wanting to get every aspect of our performance in the live show dialed in. Ultimately, what's happening now, even though we aren't giving up on, always trying to get it better and better, get the live show better and better, what we're doing now is we're enjoying it because we got good at it. And you like doing things you're good at. So we take the stage, and not that there aren't nights where we're feeling not good enough and that we have to struggle through something, and we use the music to work through something we're going through personally in that moment. Not that that's not happening, but at the same time, there are a lot of nights where we just are really enjoying ourselves because it's going exactly the way we planned, and because we know that we deserve to be up there. And it was a long road to get to that point where you feel like you do deserve to be up there and you're good enough to be doing it. And so that's a big reason why we still enjoy it every night.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Dude, love doing interviews with you, man.
Always. What you mentioned about that road, then, is that a mental road, or is it kind of, because you've been doing this for quite a while, but I can also imagine that it's a mental thing. You have to accept that you are good enough to be there, to do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the word maybe is confidence, but that can be wavered though. Like that can absolutely be shaken. That's not a guaranteed, steadfast thing that's going to be there for you every night. Is your own confidence. What will be there for you every night is the skill that you bring to the thing that you do. Like because you've worked hard, you have the muscle memory, you have the skill, you understand. When to take a breath and when to, scream. And you understand that you can do this thing in between these hits, between these drum heads. It's like there's just so much of learning about what we do every night that that's something we can rest in all the time. That's something that we can just know will show up every night, no matter what we're working through mentally, which is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, man.
I didn't say any of that into the mic, so I don't even know if you could hear me.
Got some ambience on one of these guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Again.
Good to see you.
Thanks again.